Now, from Chelsea's point of view, they've obviously Poch's come in, as you've seen. João Felix has been told that he's going to be leaving at some point soon. What do you make of that news about João Felix being on his way out?
Well, I'm not surprised, to be honest with you, because Simeone kicked off and threatened to leave unless he comes back. There you go. A manager calling his club out. Give me my player back. He threatened to leave when they loaned him to Chelsea, and there was a lot of talk the next day that he was going to hand his resignation in. He had meetings with Atleti, and now all of a sudden, João Felix is going back. There we go. Yeah, he's not really done anything since he's been at Chelsea. It is what it is. Yeah, at the end of the day, managers, players can be called out. Yeah, they can be called out. Yeah, just because it's not the norm to call them out doesn't mean they can't be called out. Simeone wants the player back. The player's coming back. That's it. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure if Simeone if that player gets sold in the summer to another football club, Simeone will call it out again and probably Jack. Because there was a lot of, if you go back, and I remember this, I did a video on it. If you go back to when João Felix went on loan to Chelsea, we were linked to him. We didn't want to pay. You didn't want to pay, and he ended up going to Chelsea. The very next day, there was tweets doing the rounds from top journalists, saying that he's having a meeting with the hierarchy at Atleti because he's not happy with the fact that João Felix has gone. Yeah, and he's thinking of handing his notice in. Yeah, now all of a sudden, he's not really done a great deal. And if he goes, trust me, Simeone will call it out again. Yeah, and he'll probably leave. Because, let's be real, people can sit and talk smack about Atleti all they like. Yeah, oh, they play negative football. No, they play very good football, actually. I watch them every week. I watch La Liga every week. Yeah, they've scored just as many goals as Real Madrid this season. In fact, they might have scored more. Yeah, the art of defending is dead. Because most of these kids play FIFA, where you just go with the fastest players in the world, and you don't have to worry about defending. Yeah, the fact is, anyone that defends properly, they're so negative, it's park the bus. No. Yeah, João Felix, is a very, very good player, which is why he wants him back. They scored literally 6 goals less than Real Madrid this season and conceded 4 less. Would you say Real Madrid are a negative defensive football team? You wouldn't, would you? So how about Atleti scored 6 less? Because this is the myth that does the rounds. What Simeone does is set up a team defensively very sound to be able to counter-attack with players like Griezmann, with players like Morata, with players like Luis Suarez when he was there, with players like João Felix. João Felix is a quality footballer. Yeah, Chelsea was the wrong fit. That's it. I would have took him at Arsenal in a heartbeat. Yeah, you probably would have took him at Man United in a heartbeat. And listen, he may or may not stay at Atleti, but who knows? Yeah, who knows? Like that comment's. Listen, I kind of agree with that comment. They are better without him, but at the same time, that's on Simeone. He needs to find a way to fit him in the team properly and get the best out of him.
So, I mean, the news is more, it's come out more. It's not so much that Ati calling him back. It's Poch just said, I don't want him. I agree with you in terms of Felix. I feel like...
Yeah, but that's just PR, Terry, to say, oh, look, Poch is the man. He's in charge. Yeah, his loans run out. That's it.
But the manager isn't saying I'm desperate for him to try and work on a deal. He's saying I'm not. A bit like Ten Hag when he came in, he just turned around and said, "Not interested in negotiating with Paul Pogba. Just let him leave. Just not offer him another deal. Let's let him kind of move on." I think in terms of Felix, there are moments where he looks really good, but he also gives me that kind of. He is more of an eye test player than he is an efficient player, and I'm all about efficiency. If you've got the eye test and efficiency, then you're great. But if you look as good as João Felix, but you're barely setting up goals and you're barely scoring goals and you're talking 80, 90, 100 million pounds to buy you, that's a red flag and a problem to me personally. That's a real problem.
Listen, Chelsea's a mess. Yeah, they are a mess. I thought he'd do a lot better. I can't lie. He's been crap. He's been absolute crap. His first game, he got sent off. He was good before he got sent off, but ultimately he got sent off. I think he scored against West Ham. He scored against you lot the other day. He ain't really done a great deal, has he? Yeah, but I do think he is a top player. And I do think that you have to find... He's a system player. He's not just one of these players that's going to grab the game by the scruff of its neck and go and dominate the game on his own. He ain't that player. He is the player that you put into an already decent set-up team. Yeah, Listen, he's fantastic on the ball. Technical level 100. I think he's quality. His shooting's poor. Yeah, he's got a weak shot on him, man. Yeah, his decision-making in the final third at times is worrying. especially at Chelsea. I mean, some of the times he held on to the ball so many times, it's like, just release the ball, mate, or have a shot. But that's probably a confidence issue as well as them being crap. Yeah, and I think if he went back to Atleti, I think that elevates him a level next season. Yeah, and I think if he goes to Man United or Arsenal, that elevates both of us. I think that makes us both better. Yeah, I think he's a top player. But at the end of the day, we can hype up that our Poch don't want him. Of course, the PR around Poch is going to be epic because half the fan base don't want him there. Yeah, so the PR is going to be probably as bad as Arteta. Yeah, because it's half the Chelsea fan base don't want him. He's ex-Tottenham. It's a disgrace. Why are we doing this? Why are we only giving him 2 years? And then the other half are going, well, listen, he's better than what we had. You know, he could do this, he could do that. You know, it's a big job on his hands. You know, we're in the gutter. He can work with the youth. Yeah, trust me, that is not going to go well next season for Poch. Yeah, so Felix has probably had a result by not staying there. Yeah, because he'll be one of the players that will be mad scapegoated next season if he stayed and signed on for 80 million. So, yeah, man, I'd take him at Arsenal all day long.
Wow. I don't know. João Felix, you're saying there. I want to make sure I heard you right.
Yeah, I'd take João Felix at Arsenal all day long, mate. Quality footballer. Quality footballer. He needs to do a lot more than he's done at Chelsea. Yeah, but I watch enough of La Liga to see that he is a top player, mate. Yeah, it's not just one game I've watched him at Chelsea or 5 games or 10 games. I watch La Liga every week, Terry, yeah? He is a quality footballer. The problem is, Atleti last season weren't that good. Yeah, they weren't that good. And there was a lot of battling in the boardroom and stuff like that. Yeah, then there was a lot of battling over him. He wanted to go. Simeone didn't want him to go. Yeah, the system didn't work properly. You know, Simeone's system last season was crap compared to this season. You know, he's got a more solid foundation at Atleti this season compared to last season. But he's obviously gone. They've ended up finishing 3rd. They're back in the Champions League. Yeah, if he goes back there and stays there, I think he elevates Atleti even higher next season. Yeah, I think, listen, Barcelona, whether they get Messi or not next season, I don't think they're winning the league. Yeah, that'd be either Madrid or Atleti that win it next year. I don't think Barca win the league next season because that Barca team's shocking. That Barca team's shocking, but I'm not 100% convinced he'll stay at Atleti.
Listen, I think that there are elements of Felix that are brilliant, but the problem you've got who would he replace in your team? Odegaard?
He could play false 9. He's better than Eddie.
I get you in terms of that.
We could have a formation. We could have the same formation we have now, but we could have him up front, Jesus on the right, or Saka on the right, Martinelli or Trossard on the left. Odegaard still on the number 10 position. That way, you could have Jesus up front and him in the 10.
If all your team was fully fit, who would you drop from your starting lineup for João Felix?
That's a good question. That is a good question. Odegaard. And people go, oh, but he scored 15 goals. Name me one big team he scored against. Name me one decent team this season he scored against. Newcastle, I'll give you that. Other than that, what's he done? Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, teams like that. Wolves, right? Did he score against Wolves? I don't even know, mate. Yeah, he don't score against the big teams. Yeah, I'd take him at Arsenal in a heartbeat. And not only that, even when you say when they're all fit, yeah, that's Terry. We're trying to build a squad, thin squad and all that. Yeah, why can't Odegaard have a player challenge him? Why can't Jesus or Eddie have a player challenge him? Yeah, why can't Martinelli or Saka have players challenge him? Yeah, just because, yeah, people are saying I'm nuts. I couldn't care less. At the end of the day, yeah, if Odegaard gets injured, we're putting Fabio Vieira in. Are you telling me he's better than João Felix? No, he ain't. Yeah, so why not go and get a player like that? Because if we want to fight on all fronts next season, well, Odegaard's going to play 70 games then, is he? Yeah,
I feel like you should go. Everyone's always got to look to improve quality in their team. There's no doubt. I'm not convinced with João Felix. I don't think there's enough output. I don't care how good he looks on the eye. If the output isn't there, you're a charlatan. You're a charlatan. This is delivery is key. And maybe being in a much better team like Arsenal compared to Chelsea this year would see him deliver. But there's a reason that Atletico were not that moved in terms of him staying or going. They seemed pretty happy for him to leave the football club. You're saying the manager didn't? I've read contrary reports stating that him and Simeone don't get on, and Simeone was somebody that wasn't, again, privately didn't want him to, privately was happy for him to leave. Publicly will state he wants to keep him, and that's a club, they want to get as much money. You sit there and say, we don't want him, he's no good. You can't be demanding top dollar for a player that a club says is no good, especially when you're as ingrained in Atti as Simeone is an example. But for me, it's going to be a real interesting one. I want to go to some of these.